how we know early Hadith critics did modern criticism, he says the following, and I quote, he says, "I'm not suggesting that Hadith critics like al-Bukhari and Ibn Hanbal were forerunners in the historical critical method," meaning that they weren't. And he's been quoting them, they weren't analyzing these Hadith in that way. He says, "As generations of Western scholars have demonstrated, even the revered Sahihin, the people that he's mentioned a moment ago, are replete with anachronistic reports that grew out of a political, legal, and sectarian feuds of the first 2 centuries of Islam." End of quote. But maybe David Wood needs the words of even an earlier Muslim scholar who already came to these same conclusions many years before. Muhammad Haikal, in the book Life of Muhammad, a book I've had over 30 years, I mentioned in the previous debate, published in 1930. He says, and I quote, "After Muhammad's death, the Muslims differed and they fabricated thousands of hadith and reports to support their various causes. And upon the murder of Uthman, civil war broke out amongst the Muslims, and Aisha fought against Ali and Ali's supporters. And the fabrication of thousands of hadith spread to the point that Ali had to reject the practice and warn against it. But he said this didn't stop the hadith narrators from fabricating their stories either in support of a cause they advocated or of a virtue or practice that they thought would have appeal if vested in prophetic tradition." He says hadith narrators deprecated the prophetic traditions reported by the party of Ali and those reported by the party of Aisha. And he says this is why the objective researcher investigating these books must therefore have a standard by which he can evaluate these various claims. End of quote. So again,
Yeah, I find this fascinating and astonishing. He's literally dismantling the science of hadith. And we already know that the majority of the hadith is fictitious, but he's just slowly, piece by piece, um, arguing that you can't know anything in that sense because, hey, this came during the time of war, and this was pro Aisha, or this was pro Ali, and this was when the first generation of Muslims is there, and they're fighting after Muhammad's death. And part of that is that, from what I've read, Muhammad really did not give them like direction for what to do after his death. So like even the collection of the Quran was something that he didn't actually expressly say to do. Like this was just something that they decided, hey, it's a good task for us to do, to collect all this Quran into one like compiled written form. And we know that like some of the earliest Muslims had different versions of the Quran.